Hi, today we will study together how I went from $40,000 in profit to losing $10,000 in 5 minutes on the same trade. I was in the trade for 2 days, and the main target for the trade was $80,000 in profit, which I was expecting it to reach in about 3 trading days to a week. And I was actually very confident that we were going to get it until something unexpected happened related to Trump and the news, and when he starts talking out of nowhere and he moves the markets. My best friend Roman was also in a similar trade with a bigger position size than mine. I believe he had 60 lots short on British pound on Tuesday, while I only had 20 on EURUSD. And in the same trade he made $40,000 in 2 hours. I would like to show you that as well, so we can learn from him. And hopefully one day he's down to come to the channel and we can do a video together, since he's one of the best traders I know. We will study everything in chronological order, from the trading plan to the reasons why I enter the trades. We will see how I align the higher time frame and lower time frame, as I always like to do, the key levels I use, the confirmations I was looking at that will make me enter the trade and add to my position. Furthermore, we will study how I scaled into my position to have 40 lots, risking no more than $3,000. We'll see how I enter the entries with maximum precision and zero drawdown. And this is very important because 40 lots risking no more than $3,000, it's something that very few people can do. You need to be very precise and know exactly what you're doing and what you're looking for. This could have been one of my biggest trades. I was up $40,000, risking no more than $3,000, and my target was $80,000. I wish we could have gotten the target, but we'll see everything that happened because it was super interesting. And lastly, and most important, we'll learn all the lessons and mistakes that could have been improved, so I could have secured the profits and not lose money, even if it was something outside of my control, and I did the majority of the things the best I could. You must always be ready at all times because the market can always surprise you like it did. Grow from your mistakes and never repeat them again. That is not only the path to becoming a profitable, successful trader, but to achieve anything great in life, you must always be growing and improving. It was all called live on my mentorship Discord. So as I break down every step, we'll be looking at that as well. I'm Moises Altayo, and I've made over $1 million trading at 24. I started this channel to share the real truth about how the market really works and show you how to trade the right way in order to build long-term, real wealth. I am confident that I have the best mentorship in the trading industry. If you like to apply, you'll find the link on the description below with all the details. You can watch the video where I explain my full story and who I can help change their life. And then you can book a call with me. I'll get to know you. And if I can help you, I'll get you in. And let's begin now with one of the most valuable videos I've ever done. The trade was this beautiful short on EURUSD. And before we go into the details on the lower time frame, you know, we always start with the plan. On my most viewed YouTube video, I started saying the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And that first step of every trade will always be your plan. That is, where are we going? What has happened in the past that is gonna allow me to know what's gonna happen in the future? And based on that knowledge, I will know, okay, this is where we're going. And as soon as I know where price is going, everything unfolds and you align the higher time frame with the lower time frame into an harmonious sequence. And that gives you the trade idea that gives you the plan, that gives you the money. And we had a weekly candle range. We did a false breakout of this high, and then on the lower time frame we form a high here. And as soon as we see this, we automatically expect a move at least to the 50% of this weekly candle. And if we flip it to the low, which was my main target, where I would have made $80,000. Knowing this, then my plan will be to expect lower prices for the week. I will be expecting the candle to open, make a high, and expand lower. That is what we're going to look for. And we'll see now all the details of how this translated into the chart. So let's look closer into Monday. And if we're expecting a bearish week, we'll look for Monday or Tuesday to form the high of the week. You can see that Monday we had a ranging day, which is very typical. And I actually didn't take any trades. I wasn't even looking at the market that day. But we're just ranging. And then on Tuesday we had CPI at 8:30, which is this candle right here. Therefore, my plan was to sweep Monday high and then get the move lower, and then we'll have a Monday range, a classic, and one of my favorite models to trade that can make you so much money every week. Basically, you trade the week based on Monday range. It guides you. On this case, this was the high. And the question is why? The answer is in DXY, it's more clear than here in EURUSD. Just like on EU, on DXY, we had the weekly candle range. Even if we know that we're going up to the 50% of the weekly candle range, which is this, you can see that it wasn't easy to enter any positions. We were kind of grinding higher, so there wasn't a very clean long to take in all this way up, unless you're long from the lows. And what extra confluence do I have to be confident that I'm expecting higher prices on DXY and therefore lower prices on EURUSD? Is that we haven't even hit the 50%. And that to me gives me an extra layer of confidence that I wouldn't have if, for example, Monday would already touch this. Because then I will be thinking, okay, we've been building all this liquidity on the way up, so maybe on Tuesday we get a retracement before going up. But in this case, I'm very bullish. And the reason why we didn't sweep the Monday high on EURUSD is this 4-hour candle range that you see right here. We hold the 50%. This low, we made it between 3 to 3:30 on London, which is the usual time I like to see a low form. And then here's the interesting part, which is we have this 15-minute key swing. And my question to you is, are we breaking it truly or not? Because that will tell us if this is a breaker. And if this is a breaker, we want this to hold to get the higher prices. And if we're looking at it objectively, we do break it truly, this high. However, I would have not entered this position here, which is what I usually do, because we had CPI, so we break it truly, 8:15, 8:30 we have CPI, so it will be pretty risky to enter just before CPI. So I decided to wait, because we could get a manipulation, sweep Monday low, and then get the real move. And on CPI we do this massive wick without sweeping any lows. And one interesting thing I want you to observe is that the bodies of the candles, they're telling you the story. The wicks, they're distracting you. And observe how we are inside of the breaker, how we hold it. It's something interesting for you to observe. But the important thing that I was looking at here, which gave me the first entry, was this. When we have a massive wick like this, we'll always feel the 50% of it. It is like an inefficiency. You can think of it like a fair value gap. So I was looking at the 50% of the wick, And then I went down to the 5 minutes and observe what we have. 50% of the wick, we wick through it and we close back inside of this candle. And during the news, this is something I've, from experience, if you understand well the direction, the higher time frame, and align the lower time frame looking at specific candles, the 5-minute candle range during the news works super well. And that's exactly what I did here. 50% of the week, as soon as I see that this specific candle is closing inside of this one, I say, okay, I expect at least a move to the 50%. And if we flip it, the low is in. And this right here is my first short on EURUSD with 20 lots. I did 2 positions of 10 lots. We can see it now on the Discord. You can see it here on EURUSD as well, super clean. We don't take Monday high. This is the wick on the 15 minute, 50% of the wick. 5-minute candle range. We break it truly, and from there we go lower. Obviously, I was paying attention to Monday low in case we'll do a false breakout, but no, this is a key candle and we remain super weak. We don't even reach the 50% nor the fair value gap. Everyone waiting to short is left behind. As usual, the market makers, they don't move price to the desired direction until anyone who wants to be on that move is either too afraid to enter or they are on the wrong side. And they like to leave people on the sidelines, meaning you'll be waiting on this fair value gap to enter, but it never gets reached and we just continue straight down. And then once you enter, it's when they do a retracement and they stop you. That's why you always need to be ahead. You need to be following their footsteps and always be ahead of the moves. And being careful of not chasing, not feeling the FOMO, because there are always opportunities coming. You can see here, 15th of July, during New York, this is at 3 p.m. my time, is at 9:09 p.m. New York time. Precision as always, this is what we're looking on DXY. This is my chart live. My stop loss was at the low that we formed on this 5-minute candle range, on this one. Because if we were to come down to this low, I will expect this low to be taken and continue lower. And then my trade plan will be different. I will still have the same bias, but I'll be looking for a different plan. You can see 20 lots in total. Let's see if it runs. I would like the XY to break the 50% of the weekly candle range and go for the weekly candle range high. Right, this is where we're looking. Weekly candle range on the XY. 50 minutes later, almost $6,000. Have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe. That is from Jesus. Now break it truly and $40,000 trade cooking. I here was saying $40,000 because I had not added to my position yet. Right? To the weekly candle range high. This is funny. That's how you get 0% interest rate in the bank. You go like this and they give it to you. It's like magic. This is an inside joke, the Jewish level that we have. It's a letter that I received from private banking that they're saying that they're expecting euro to finish the year 2025 at 1.10. So that's why it's an insider joke. But yeah, in about an hour of entering the trade, you can see here when I entered, it was 3:09 my time. And at 4 p.m., $8,500. Here the target. I said this because some people closed the trade and I was like, why are you closing it? Some people, they just see a profit and they want to close the trade quickly, but if you have a clear target, you should hold it. You should not fear, even if you see a lot of money like here. Some people, they've never seen $12,000 in 1 hour, so they close quickly. But that's a foolish way to miss out on a lot of profits, and I've done this in the past. And around here was when we formed the low of the day. I believe my maximum profit on that day was $17,000, which is when Roman closed his trade for 40,000. Here I had 20 lots and Roman had 60. That's why he had $40,000 in profit in these same 2 hours that I was in this trade. Here's the move. And magically, where do we form the low of the day? At the 50% of the weekly candle range. What a coincidence, no? And on the XY, you can see that we're already higher than the 50%. Therefore, that gives me confidence that we're expecting the high. Because there's really nothing here. We just have this 4-hour FVG that, in my opinion, is irrelevant. Look at the precision, how we bounce exactly from it. Here is where we're looking now that we bounce, and I put that screenshot. And then we do another dig into the key level, which is the 50% of the weekly candle range. And as soon as I see this high specifically, the 5-minute key swing, that we break it truly, I know that at least we're having a retracement to this high. Not only that, but we also form a 1-hour candle range, which is giving me extra confidence that I'm right? That we're forming a low here, we break the 5-minute key swing truly, and we're going to the 15-minute key swing, the 1-hour candle range high, and this fair value gap that we have here. We also had a 4-hour fair value gap in all this move down, since it was fairly quick. And since DXY show all this strength during the day on Tuesday, we didn't really show any signs that we are about to form a high at the 50%. That's why I was very confident holding my short on EURUSD and expecting to get this. So I was like assuming already that I was gonna get the $80,000 in profit. I was very confident. I had zero doubt we're gonna get it. But let's move on now to the next day and see how I scaled into the position, how I added into it to have 40 lots, and then the events that unfolded or downfall on this trade. By the way, before that, I don't want to forget, but this is where Roman closed. You can see that British pound was weaker, which you can always know it with Euro GBP chart. And at that time, 15th of July, British pound was weaker and Euro was stronger. And this is the weekly candle range on British pound. And you can see that we reached the target. We reached it on Wednesday, but Roman closed here after we got the move down of the CPI. And here we show some signs of the lower time frame forming a low. That's when Roman closed for 40,000. And that's a very good place to close, because a lot of times before we reach the target, which in this case will be the low, we front run it and then we grab liquidity before getting the real move into the target. That is to induce more people and basically fuck more people over, liquidate more people. Right? You stop everyone who is short, you get people to long, and then you stop them. So it's a way for the market makers to extract more money from everyone. And as we said, we were expecting the retracement. And when does it happen? During London. At what time? At 3. Exactly is when we form the high. This is no coincidence. We form the high 5-minute key swing, which is also the 1-minute key swing. We break it truly. We have a breaker now. And as soon as I see this, around here is where I add to my position 20 more lots. Stop loss at the high, and it was a little bit flexible. I could allow to do a false breakout of the high and then continue. However, since we make the high at 3, I'm confident that this is good. I'm chilling. However, there is an important thing that needs to happen for me to be extra chill, which is we need to break the 15-minute key swing truly. And here you see that we don't do it, right? Then we retrace. Here, it seems we're going to do it, but not really. We retrace again, holding the breaker, which is a good sign. And then here's when we do it. And here at 8:30, we had PPI, which is the manufacturing information of the US, inflation, how it's going the production of goods in terms of manufacturing factories. And the news, we got this false move to the upside, and then we continue the expansion. You can see the same exact thing happening here on the XY. We had the range high. I was looking at this as a range to continue higher. For our FVG as well here. We had the 15-minute key swing, which we don't break truly until this specific candle right here, or even this one you could consider. However, observe how we're holding the 5-minute breaker very well. We also had a 1-hour key candle at the low. And we form the breaker, and on the news, what do? We retest that 15-minute breaker and touch also the 5-minute key candle, which was the one that dig into the 1-hour key candle and the 5-minute breaker. So it's super clean and precise once you understand it deeply. And then from that, again, what did I say earlier? During the news, 5-minute candle range. 5-minute candle range, flip the 50%, which is also an FBG, and we go. And I remember I was driving back home from the gym after I was saying this, and here I was very happy. I had 40 lots. I was in profit like $30,000, 26. We can look at it now here. You can see here this before PPI, 15K in profit. How I added the positions. I show it here, stop loss. Again, risking no more than $3,000 in total, which is insanity. 18K in profit here. 30 minutes for the PPI. Lord of the Rings. $80,000 profit once we reach the weekly candle range high with 0 drawdown, maximum precision, and risking no more than $3,000 in total. Will be one of my best trades. Absolutely, like, doing this is not easy. Again, I hope you can appreciate the precision. And here is when we start expanding, 26K, $33,000 in profit here. And that's while we're dropping. And here at the low, at 9:40, between 9 and 10, again, one of the most important times on New York session. The only place that I had a concern besides the 50% of the weekly candle range was this, which it was a minor concern. It was just a level that I had in mind. But obviously, this was the news that we'll see now what happened. But we had a daily fair value gap. And most importantly, we had the 50% of the previous monthly candle, which was the exact low to precision. Here, this when we get the news, this specific candle, and then from there, look at this. This is how I went from 40K here to minus 10,000 with this move. I'll break down now all the details of the move and what I was thinking while it was going on. But the first sign that I should have paid attention after we get the move was this, that we formed this 5-minute key swing with this big expansion, and then we hold it with this candle. Now, after I saw this, I had hope, because here you see again that we're forming a 5-minute CR, but the news were so strong that they continued pushing price higher. And before we see this, let's look at what were these news. What am I talking about? What was Trump even saying, right? It was this. Here I was obviously pretty pissed off. Fucking Trump, worst president in the history. My P&L went down almost 20k. Went from $40,000 to 9k in profit. And it was this. CBS saying that Trump may fire Powell. 2 hours later, actually, Trump came out and said that it was fake news. So that's what even pissed me more. And usually from experience, another reason why I wanted to hold still, like I didn't close when I was down to from 40k to 20k. Why didn't you close? Why didn't you close for 10k? Why you close at loss? Usually when you get this kind of news, that they're not really, they're like speculation. The market gets a reaction and it's usually fake, and then you continue to the direction that you're going. But in this case, people took it very seriously, and look at this. Pretty much 160 pips in an hour. And when I lost, what happened was this. I was looking more at DXY. And after we got the move down, I said, okay, ranges, once they're broken truly, which we broke this range truly, they become the real support or resistance. The 50% of the range specifically. So that's why I was looking for this to support price. And then I saw that we didn't. And I said, you know, I'm just going to take the chance, see if we do a false breakout of the low of this that we made on London. And to then continue higher, a big manipulation with this fake news. And while I was waiting for this, here's what fucked me the most, is this candle. This is on the 1 minute, this big candle. It's the same. You can see it here on the 1 minute, massive candle. You can see it here on Euro. Pretty much 60 pips in 1 minute. And this is the candle that made me lose, because these positions here, I decided to hold them, expecting that, okay, maybe we do the false breakout and we continue. So I'm going to hold the positions. I'm going to keep a higher stop loss. And even if I had the positions from here running, right, this candle made me be in drawdown. And that's what made me lose over 10k. So go from $40,000 in profit to minus 10,000 in pretty much minutes. What things could I have done better to allow this to not happen? The first thing that comes to my mind will be obviously to put my stop loss at break even on these positions and not move my stop loss higher, because I knew it was quite a big risk, but I still wanted to do it. And that is to you, because once you go from $40,000 in profit on your P&L to 9k to 10k, it's like you get greedy. Just imagine that you could have closed for 40k, and now even if you are 10k up, 20k up, you're like, this is nothing, like compared to what I had earlier. So it's like you would rather take the L that close the trade. And the lesson here is to, if you see something that you don't like here you start seeing this move, close the trade and be happy with the profit. Like, would you rather make 25,000, 20,000, even 18, 15k, or lose 10,000? Obviously you will take the money every time. And that is the biggest mistake I see in here. These positions, obviously they were protected at break even. The main issue were these ones, that were the ones that made me lose money. And besides that, I would say that it was pretty unfortunate and pretty unlucky, because we did a true breakout of the 50%, everything was going perfect until here we got the news and we got the move. So everything that was under my control minus this, which was a mistake after the news happened, everything was looking perfect and I had zero reasons to close here at this low. Even with the loss, I'm very grateful for the trade. It was so clean, so precise, so beautiful that I really wanted to do this video and share the experience from going from 40K to losing. And hopefully it will help some of you improve and become better. Thank you very much for the support on the channel. It's been amazing. I always love to do these videos and come here and share my experience, share my trades, share my knowledge with all of you to help you improve and become great. And if you resonate with my concepts, you can apply to my mentorship. I'm making 50K, 100K months, and I'm calling it all live on the Discord. So it's very incredible to see. And I also have my best friend Roman, who is also doing 50K, 100K months, 50K weeks. And all the trades I take, I filter them through him. And then I share them also publicly. And it's not just like a signal group. I'm building a community of successful, profitable traders. I'm also teaching you in depth, not only the charts, but also your psychology, risk management, and mindset outside the charts as well, because whatever you do, it's a reflection. Your life outside the charts determine how good you will be inside of the charts. Therefore, everything is correlated. And I'm a huge believer in being disciplined, being organized in all your other areas of your life, and that's what will make you successful. That's why I say I have the best mentorship in the industry. Because it's not just about trading, it's more than that. And we're a family as well. We do also everything live. I do every weekend a 5-hour, 6-hour, 3-hour live together. So we're like a group of friends, because at the end we spend every weekend together. And the first live I did now exactly 1 year ago. It was at the beginning of August of 2024. So I'm very grateful for how everything is going. And you can learn all of these details by watching the video on the description. And then you can book a call. You'll see my calendar there. And you can schedule a call with me. And then we'll talk one-to-one. And obviously, again, it's not cheap. But it's life-changing if you can afford it. And yeah, I wanted to say thank you very much to everyone if you made it so far in this video. I really hope you enjoy it, that you got entertained, but most importantly, that you learn and that you will become better and that you will grow. I wish you all the best. God bless you. And I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.